Hey everybody, how we doing today? So welcome to Patio Workshop slash Tackle Warehouse number 12. Alright, so today we are going to be working on this section here, which is my tackle room. I need to start converting it over to more of an all about the bait storage. So I'm going to allocate basically from here to there. I've got a product line coming, big heavy stuff, so I'm gonna remove all my tackle stuff and put in some heavy duty 2x4 shelving in here, and then take all this stuff and condense it down to 2 racks and move them to the newly enclosed patio workshop. So we just finished enclosing this section here. The plan is I'd like to get 2 racks, and only 2 racks. I was thinking about doing 3, but I'd like to get it down to 2 racks of just the stuff that's actually stuff that I want, and get rid of or organize and put away the other stuff, and just have 2 racks. One more there. I brought this one out just to kind of measure things, so it'll end up being a second rack here, and then that'll still leave me plenty of room to access that, which is my fluids and chemicals and miscellaneous parts area. And then I've got this whole pocket area with plenty of room to still move around and organize stuff. I still have my scrap piles, metal and wood scrap piles, kind of all over, so I need to kind of come up with a spot, so that might end up being right there. But for now, just getting that stuff out over here so I could start building the shelving on the inside is the priority. So start moving that stuff out and condensing it. So like all this stuff, I'm gonna keep all my mold stuff. I'm building the jigs and stuff. I might keep make one section of those, and then I've got my reel parts, I've got my outboard motor parts, and I've got a few other things, and then some of the electronic stuff I might not keep out here unless I could totally block it in, which means putting an actual door, so this will be a little bit more climate controlled and reduce the humidity. Then I could put electronics out here, but until then I'll leave those inside. But yeah, we've got a plan, just a lot of organizing to do. Okay, I got my 2 racks set up. I've got them organized with the basic stuff that I want over here. We've got my outboard motor parts all put together. There's a few electronic stuff that I've got, and my camera gear, reel parts, fly stuff. That one is just a power head for one of my 2.5 horsepower Suzukis, but I didn't want to put it in there with the added weight, but I'll find a home for that. And then I needed 2 bays for my lead pouring stuff, so that's all lead stuff. So I've got 1, 2, 3 spots left, and I can move to keep them together, maybe have 1 shelf up there or whatever. But that leaves this. This is all my fishing tackle. And what to do with it, because it's not going to fit in those racks, and I actually don't want them in those racks. I want to get this down to, well, the plan is I am going to get rid of everything not all about the bait, the stuff that I use and actually use, because I actually don't use anything except the stuff that I have on my website, my All About the Bait stuff. That is one of the pillars for my company, is stuff that I use. And then the flip side is stuff for the Florida Keys. But a lot of this stuff is buildup of stuff from California fishing. So that's freshwater, trout, bass kind of stuff. And California saltwater, a lot of jig head, soft plastics. There's some fly fishing stuff, dry flies. There's some plastics that are for that. Hard baits that I brought over. But I don't use over here, so those have to go. Stuff that I've found out when I'm on my shoreline scavenging, or I just find them out there floating, or people give me stuff and I just don't use it. So like all this stuff, this is some of the California stuff. This was my main go-to in California, which was the tubes, squid. But I'm gonna go through everything, and if it's not all about the bait, I'm gonna get rid of it. Either give it away or toss it. One of the problems that I have is, look at all this stuff. These are all about the bait stuff that I use for either prototyping or for samples for taking photos. So like I need photos to put on the online site. I have this. I have to rig it with the jig head, but I can't sell that now. I'm not using 25 of them because I have one for each style of jig head, each weight, each different jig head. So I got a whole bunch of them rigged. So that's what all this stuff is down here. It's just all rigged stuff that I took photos of and I can't use. Same with all this stuff. So break open packs, and I've got samples and just tons of it. I'll never use in a lifetime, but it's my stuff, so I'll keep it. It's coming around to CUDA season, so I'll try to burn through some of this stuff. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through this, pull out the All About the Bait stuff, put it on this counter, everything not all about a bait, put on these counters, and then figure out how to get rid of it. So that's the plan, and that'll be the last of it. And then just my All About the Bait stuff, I'll have room for it over there, and then I'll be done. I have everything down to 2 racks, just like I was hoping for. All right, I finished sorting everything. So basically we've got California stuff. So that's freshwater, trout, bass, and then saltwater, deep jigging stuff. Then I've got all my hard baits there that I never use anymore. And then a box viewer gave me of some old jigs that they hand poured and painted themselves. But I'm going to give these to Fred. We use them on his boat to use as a weight for drifting live baits. So I've been cutting them in half and then having some whole, but we found out the whole ones would work best. So I'm going to give those to him so I don't have to deal with them. Bobbers. Collection of bobbers there. This is my DIY vertical jig stuff that I make my own jigs, so I'll keep that. This is my no-see-um and mosquito DIY stuff. So it's like tea tree oil and I don't know, whatever this stuff is. Chamomile oil, tea tree oil, antiseptic, mix it all up, and it's supposed to be stop from the no-see-ums, but doesn't work as good as DEET. This is all my lines, braided line, mono leaders, wire leaders, so I'll use those. One thing that brought to mind is that I will probably carry my own line of single strand wire, because that's a big thing down here in the Keys. So I'll be doing some of those. The multi-strands, we don't really use them that much. Fishing line, there's just so many out there, it's really not worthwhile. And leaders are scams. The fluorocarbons and mono leaders and stuff are just a scam, so I'm not going to deal with those things. Nor braided lines. They're just a bunch of different companies doing stuff. These are, oh, this is California stuff too. This is my soft plastic bass stuff, so that's all California stuff. Some hard baits and California stuff. I'll separate the plastics and the hard baits will go together. So that cuts that down. And this are all good stuff that I just won't ever use. A lot of little plates and stuff. So I'm going to give this probably to my UPS driver. I found out he's an avid fisherman, so hardest working guy in the Keys. So give that to him. He should like that. And then I got it down to just this stuff is my All About the Bait stuff. So I just need to go through that and organize it. I got to be careful. My curly tail grubs do not like my other soft plastics. You really don't want to mix plastics, because sometimes they can be volatile and they'll eat each other and you have a big ball of mess. But that's the only one I could see that is not friendly with others, is my curly tail grubs. So I'm not sure what the blend is. I'll have to find out about that. I know we talked about it was a harder plastic, soft plastic, so I had different chemical mixes I could have chose from, and I went for the little bit harder one, so that's probably why. But yeah, so not too bad. So you basically got to get this organized, and then I've got 2 open bays there. This one I separated is just my storage boxes. They're all empty, so those can probably go and I can have a free bay. But I think I'm gonna have actually extra room now that I got it all cleaned out. And pretty much all of this, none of this is actually going to go back. I might hold on to this to do something with. I'm not sure. They're pretty trash, but that's still a lot of money right there. But I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty. Step 2 is done. Now it's just putting this stuff away. All right, I went ahead and built a rack here for all my cordless tools here. So they're out of the way, charging, everything. Those I just have laid all over the place, but the main thing was getting this tackle room cleaned up, and I started going crazy. One of the things I did is I cleared out that above storage. I had just a bunch of stuff up there, went through it, threw away a bunch of stuff, combined it with some of the stuff on the patio, and so got down to nothing. And then I had stacks of the soft plastics on the ground here. So those are the 4-inch paddle tails and Esky shrimp. So I got those all the way packed in there and barely fit, but got them all up there. Then I built this rack. I had all these stored boxes are extras, backups. I just had them all over the floors and sides and stuff, and they take up a bunch of room and they fall all over. But now I have storage for them up there. I used all my extra pieces that I had just lying around. I didn't have to go to Home Depot for anything. I just used all my extra stuff. This board was perfect because that was left over from doing the paneling for the patio workshop there and closing that in. And then a bunch of 2x4s, and then I needed some thin rail stuff. So used the old table saw and just cut down a 4x6 and ripped it into thin strips there, and that worked out great. So no Home Depot necessary for that. So the only thing I've got to do left is I'm going to go through, just clean this stuff up. I was kind of trying to calculate how much the new product line is going to take, and I have a feeling that it might take up this entire room. That's what worries me, that one shelving unit that I'm going to put in is not going to be enough. So I'm just going to clear everything out and then just make sure I can get it into the house first, and then I'll deal with it then. But I'll just got to clean up some of this stuff. That box is full of emergency chum bags. I'm going to be doing a special for the 4th quarter, the big peak season for chum. You buy a chum net and then you get an emergency chum net. And that's my Plastazol 5-gallon. I already packaged all the individual Plastazol liquid out of there, so it just has all my equipment that I use to basically after you paint your baits and then you want to dip them. That was the Plastazol was for, but otherwise looking nice in here. All right, now I'm down to the All About the Bait table. This is all my All About the Bait stuff that I just need to go through and organize. So bought a bunch of these from the $1.25 store, and the shelf will basically fit 6 comfortably stacked. So I've got one done. This is just Cuda tubes. I know I'll do one that has just the curly tail grubs, because they seem to not like the other plastics. So they'll end up melting each other. So I'll pull those aside, and then I'll do one that's just paddle tails, maybe one that's the Shimano and the shrimp, and then one for flukes or miscellaneous, and actually get the majority of it. So let me get to sorting. Well, we're getting through it, almost there. Just got to do that section there. But look at this, what I found. This is pretty cool. This is one of my prototypes I was testing for doing the weighted circle hooks. I think that's a 3/0, but I didn't do 3/0. I went to a 4/0 because I was calculating the hook point to the shank to see what kind of reduction there would be by putting the weight there, and then measuring that against like 2/0 and 3/0 to 3/0 to 4/0 and 4/0 to 5/0, and trying to figure out the hookup ratio or reduction that I was going to get. But yeah, I just basically took some I got some thin round lead, and then smashed it down to a ribbon and then just wrapped it to get the different dimensions, and I could twist it, measure it, weigh it, cut it down. But yeah, I should have that into a All About the Bait museum piece. Pretty cool. All right, I got it all sorted, so that's the biggest part. Found this. This is actually a 2025 future All About the Bait bait. This is a local guide's favorite trolling lure for dolphin. So I'll probably be doing some of these. One item, one color. That's it. No options. But that's his go-to, so I'll do that. I'm not going to have that many trolling lures, just a few select basic ones. Kind of like flies, I'm just going to have a couple. They're too finicky. Everybody has their little minor differences. Somebody won't buy that because it doesn't have a blue dot in the eye, and then they're gonna like, no, that's not going to work. I'm not going to buy that. But so it's just not worth it. So I'll have a couple of go-tos for people that aren't sure what to get, that I know are a local favorite, and then I'll sell those and go from there. Plus, this is just a really basic build and nice and easy and cheap, so fits my bill. But yeah, got everything organized here, so I'm just going to split them up into these boxes and then get them up on the shelf. Alrighty, we are done sorting and everything is organized. I went ahead and labeled some of the stuff. I had a lot of camera gear. I need to go through that and toss most of that. A lot of old GoPro stuff, parts. This is what I did with my All About the Bait product stuff. So I just got it sorted by the different styles. So I just need to put a concerted effort to go through and use this stuff. But yeah, you can pretty much see it didn't change much from where I was before. I have some flex room with those. All those are empty. Plan is to build boxes for certain styles of fishing, so reef fishing, offshore fishing, blah blah blah. So when I go out, I'll have to bring my big tackle box where I'm not going to use most of it, and I'll just have the stuff that I need. But otherwise, done. Nice. So now we got to work on finishing up the shelving in the tackle room, and we'll be done until that product comes in.